Ya qone ya nakikaya ya ha wuj in stutel tu ga wu. Wasa achtu yek te kat yuhan. Ya achtil ko has daklewi has du data yuk achtan tatke khan aya. Wasa achtu asagu has khasatini. Ya achtil ko has kit gushi hiti dachoy achtil ko. Ho qone achi awtletu lingit. Tak on awach tuasaku akechatuti. Aya ya achtil ko has ani tla kachatu hogudi. Ajoy ya weshukwa wakachut amlitsini niku hachugudi. Kliye hede has shuwatan has du kahati has du ani dat. Tel has du tuashku e niku klein has du chuchewuti. Ajoy tel akechatuti. Ja achtil ko has ani ya idet khoach tuasaku adecho kuchu. Kutia kaya aya kachachak ya idet. Akakaya yel kijik aya wede dech awutli hit. De taich awe qaat. A taich awe tal kanach sha kinna yegi. Tal kanach sha. You do a sock. We sha clean. A shaki kaya ye ha wutien chak kanach chak. Tal you do a sock aya. Tal kak away. Kanach we yatayach we gwall yatayach ye kuwat. Ha kanach we qaat aya. Tal you do a sock at tal adi tal quidi. Ye away ye had to sagen chak me lukach adi tal quidi. Tal nach ye away gwall isaku nach qa nach tedi luk nach adi a tlein nach away qutzati. Tlell hechosaku dark yuch ʼatánk sawe fjord gwall achlill ko has yuch ʼatangitsu. Fjord away you do a sago at nach uski ako nach gwall isaku shqagwe nach de ya. Ye away you do a sag ya ha ani. Talku nachku sha. Ye away you do a sag we sha. Wutu a hain ya lukach adi. Gulchisha eti sa achi yohansu. Dagun wuch etchiu ʼatánk gwalliwe kaishu hit hechosaku kun sa. Ye shkunye jine ach tuasaku ye yuch ʼatánk ho achi ya yidat. Ajo ye it ho ha. Gulchish klein. Du sakshawa ya yidat ho.
Hat
Gulchish.
Sludach na chuchan ye ku ye chayati. Wel kat uchan llakwas ku adat ku deyak clear ye chayati katul tinitsu. Cha ye gugenk true ka jiye yati we dana ka atagweki in ka ye yati de awa trudach na chuchan ye ku ye hayati Yake ku'u ye hayati.
Ah,
Gwell, wa etsu. Sorry. De plie ye hayati katutla tenetsu. Ye gugenk chu haji ye yeti we dana. Atagwiki hinka ye yeti.
Nak aya ʻātākoiki. Achaf aya ʻatuyeti llitsini nak.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Ishiwe
okay.
ʻakaduneek.
Oh, okay.
Ihtihina chuni akawa a koe nak kaa kushi. Duchan. Duchis aya ausi. Nik klein. Masa diusago atkul. Katchatewok ak cancer awe du tuyeti. Hasakawa ak chan koa cancer shawe awat Ye awe khoji koa tlitsini nak kayani tuyeti. Ilchish.
Shitwu. Dasa hin kayati.
Atagwiki. Lily pads?
Ah,
Mm.
goodness cheese.
Skafsnik dach kayishi in.
Ah, goodness cheese.
Tsukake. Johan.
Yadu cut. Ya tak. Ayach. Uch. Yati. Klech. Late. Ka. Ach. Yadich. Klech. Kleye. Ye yati. Kleye. Ye wuti. Ka. Ach. Kana. De. Eek. Ka. De. Eek. De shuk. Ye yati. Ka. Chat. Itinak. Itinach. Suk dana. Aga. Inflation. Uch.
Echa. Inflation. Yewe. Echa sagu asagachtusa. Dana aya. Kone yek genkia. Dana masa. Sheesh. Let's Ya yel. Du toasagu inak. Uski masa ye ya waka. Shkakilha. Shkakilha. Well. Shkautlahai dana. Kiwi. Inflation. Just the cut at the yanak ʻadudli. K'eka we inflation jiti dana ku'u qanashkidek dana yi awa tau. Inflation team. Tukaka. Spasa kwati kwashtel haji.
Yadu khat chak yan wat asha dlet yach yati chak yes asha sagwat yach yati Llell a yach una teach Shugunach asha chwal a yach wuti kutch ye wuti kudzati awa Kleye ye wuti atla Atka cha an atla wakshiyich ye natich cha dasa ye kuati ahlun nuch du yadi da tuati slingit yuchatangi yestuga khat dati gulchis ache yesa achi huch
Okay, jeez. De awa okay. Lekat de we yati. Okay, we jeez.
Yana 8. It's just a second. Gotta find my. Okay. Yes tuch tla. Tuch yach yati ge kudase.
Tuitsiachiti.
Okay. Chonetse.
Ach.
Chonets. Meda.
Akin kutatsi awa tuji acheti. Ya ach ish has ani dachaya.
Okay. Achdushi udzika yeyachat nanein. Let's see other ones. Well, achit Seattle ye eati. Achit. Juno ye chat yeti.
You okay? Jeez, we. Okay, Hatsu akon on a cook hatyati. Utsukai cake, chicle ayazum cook hatati. Chatlako shusta. Aduita kakwaha. Kwa li ideka kwadeshi on. Ukeha.
Yadu khat.
Algalchish.
Yadu khat. Okay, kwasatini ye kwan. Dlit yach yati sis ide khat ye de yati we ak ein ide khat akas eku chichkana gat tuk ata la wuk yak yati kugas yak yakti kudas sheikh yak yati an jis da yi yak yati yak kunis cheese at lane
Echa. Nechin te. Lido sago at. Nechin te yacheti. Kaya has to teach ark. Ya atlin ku. The cut at the way a car. Cut the shit nuge. Ka akach ark nuge. Yewe dasa aya. Utu a hain. A car aya cut the shit ka akach ark. Yewe a dati te chotanyayagi. Na hain. Kun sa aya dak ua gut. Dak ua at yayagi. Woosh kinda art the way you do a sock way. Kasne ate. Du klar awe kunachwe awashkugen. Du klar awe. Shiksani keek awe. Du auslutu. A dikatus neya. Na geen. Yewe ach. Chwatu. Qaq. Ka auslutu chak. Galtsutskan awe. Has du jidch. Ja hallik o hassase yawadlaq. Na geen. Chanachwe git ayi awe yai dat. Keshow de heen. Hoa has au shaguk. A dikatus neye. Jan hoa. Dak ua at. We na geen yayegi. Kunza. Gwal naskadushu gwal jenkaan. Ye awe kelches kutia aya. Ye kakosi ha ani kuk. Na geen su. Yuka udku. Atlein atawe kutzati. Tsach. Kanachoi. Keltasa ayanach ʼadudli.átk. Ya na geen. Ha ayi kach. Qat. Qaq ko aqeqa. Yes. Qane aya. We yes hini. Na ki has au. Has wuqaq. Has kaudu wuqaq. We qat. Ya has du. Kahagu. Jinnach naqat. Has du tuwati aya. Has du yetki. We hin tak aya has a jiwa naqwe kahak. Aka we. Qone has a ʼatánk. Ya hin wat. Dech watak aya hin wat. Ye awach wa ach. Qanach yendashani a. Wan qanin se yenaqijin. Has du tawasagu. We yis qaqay. Iltakat khu. Has aus kuun. Keshlana shekukwana. Atwe has du atwas kuku. Has du tawasagu. Has a jiwa naqi. Ye awa qanach yek ha qosti. Ade aya. Ye qudusti ya. Yank. Atuwan kaya atlein dakhta sego at. Hasuji dakh awe atlein atwasku aya hajit has awati. Aka hajike natij. Chahayu qatangi tin aya yagakhtu laq. Wash. Lingit qinach yuqakwatan wan qanin shkashnik. Chuya qeqa at awe. Gled qaq inach English wan qanin kalkatin. Akhu hin. And joy ya has to turn the tani tin. Got touch shugo at the away just the cut at. Gulchisha hidi sa ahi. Tukaga. Huchaga.
Well, just fake off. Chalk. Vancouver. Ye chatwutien. Yis shawat chatsatien. I wasn't sure if I had that right. Like I wanted to use the decessive. I used to live in Vancouver. I don't anymore.
Ye chat tien.
W-U. Yeah, owa.
Okay. Gonna cheesh.
Qaqatatien. Used to be. Yeah.
Used to be.
So like these yati verbs, you could do so much with just that one yati verb. So like a way you can sort of cross-reference some of this stuff. In one of the slow crawl documents, which means it'll be done probably when there's flying cars and shoes that you don't have to tie, all kinds of neat technologies. By the time I'm finished with it. But so if you take this yati verb, and this is just sort of, this is from the verb component handbook, which I'll get back on it, and we'll go through because we got to get up to some fun stuff. It's done up to the classifier, I think, or maybe almost to the classifier. So if you have yeyeti, that's how it is. And you could put klesh in front of it, which pushes that verb negative. Klesh yeuti. That's not how it is. Then you could put in front of it. Yeyeti. It's there. That could also be a specific place, which many of you did. Hatu yeyeti, right? Du'in, to them. But then when you put du'in yeti, you're saying it affects them, which is wild. A'atinech, through its remains. Put that in front of it, and you got a'atinech yeti. I need it. Kayanach, it's too much, it's overpowering. Kayanach yeti, it's too much for me. Kliye, which is stillness or calm. Kliyeyeti, it is calm. Tuqa is acceptable or pleasant. Etuqayeti, it's acceptable to you. If you change the I to SH, and you get shtuqa, and that SH pushes the verb to go plus D. Shtuqa khattati. But it's still the same basic verb, but you've changed the classifier a little bit. Dutun is with their insides, kind of their feelings. Dutun khatyati, I'm concerned about them. So there's a bit of patterns too, like how would you change that? They are concerned about me. Achtun yati, you are concerned about me. Achtun iyati, I'm concerned about you. Itun khatyati. So one of them is a relational or possessive pronoun. That's who's doing the concerning, or no, that's who they're concerned about. And then the object is the one who's concerned. So there are cases where like it's an object pronoun, but it's kind of the one doing the verb. Achtuwu, ye'oe achtuwu yati. That's how I feel about it. Achtuwu tleye. Now you're combining a couple of things. Achtuwu tleye yati. I'm meditating, or my thoughts are calm. Ituch, located at your inside. Ituch yeyati. Oops, it's they bear, or, that's you. You bear it in mind. So it exists in your inside of you. Achwak shiyich, before my eyes. Achwak shiyich ye'iyeti. You appeared before my eyes, or you are before my eyes. ʼatánk is visiting. ʼatánk yehayati. We are visiting them. A'eqa, following my words, or after my mouth. A'eqa yati. They are obedient to me. Yach, like. Yachyati. It's like a boat. But that could also be any of the colors. Which pages? These ones? Yeah, I'll put it up on our page.
These preverbs.
Yeah, I'll put it up there.
Goodness, cheesh.
Couple I found interesting. Guakan say yeyati, the deer stops still.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that would fit under yati though. And the other one I found is the yeyati, it's in a low place.
Oh, yeah.
And then we talked about polar bears, and I found one that it's like a walrus.
Yeah, so the yachyati is in here, the tleyeti is in here. Yeah, so you could find, and then you could start substituting and adding things in there. So you could put additional information into some of these, like where you're putting it into the preverb. And then you could kind of cross-reference this if you want to get fancy with it, with these conjugations. So if you're saying kliye, that can substitute for ye. Kliye. Well, I think it goes, the ye says, kliye ye in the ti. Be calm, be still. So it could be a command. And then I guess you could say, don't be there. You could say it. You could say, I'm like a walrus. Right? And then all these could go negative, right? So it's a matter of figuring out where those things would go, right? So you could say, it's not blue. The one that is that way. So you could say, the ones that I need. So you can look through these and find the verb in all these different ways. Wuti, wuti. And for some of them, they are already negative. So you would say, tesh wa sa gqati. It'll be okay. Right? But that should stay low because that's a negative once you put tesh in front of it. Ordinatives, you could do that. You'd say, well, there's a city verb that Raven uses. He says, Teich hasnachsati, let them be stone. Tinuch, natich, unatich. Like you could say, it can't be read. Tesh adech anyach napati. And then, yatik, you yatik. So these are just things to sort of keep in mind in terms of how you can start adding these things together as you learn, like this one that has a whole bunch of different preverbs you could put in front of it. But that verb itself will mostly stay the same. The biggest thing that will affect it is whether or not that preverb ends with a vowel.
I was looking at the preverbs of ye and you, and I'm still not clear on how each are used.
Yeah, well, do a sock and yawaka are probably the most common ones that take that on. And so basically, like you do a sock. If the name it goes name, you do a sock, but it has to go in that order. Chane, you chat do a sock. Each da you do a sock. Chitu you do a sock. Right? But if that name you, but if you move that name, it switches to ye. So it's sort of like you is saying, like this right here, and then ye is saying like that. So you'd say yechatu asak chane. You're just kind of being a little fancy and flowery with your language by throwing it to the other side. But yeah, that's the big thing. And like old school, really high fluency speakers, you would hear them do that with ye yawaka and you yawaka. So if they said, you're trying to say, they said be still. Ye initi, you yawaka. Akawe ye yawaka. So if it goes on the other side of the verb, it'll switch to ye. So basically, I would say it's ye unless that thing comes right before the verb, then it says you. It's just telling you where the thing is, the name, the specific thing that's said. It's a good question.
Gotchish.
Okay, you okay?
Renee, I put in the comments, I initially did a bunch of homework and just totally, let my English brain take over, wrote English sentences, and then tried to translate into Shingit. And I was using the yati as if I was in English saying kind. So.
Right. Yeah, that's very common where people will say ʼatánk, where it's like, oh, that's just, the whole thing is, the first one's a verb. So you could say tukuchlaan, and that's what you conjugate. So yeah, a lot of people will throw yati in there because they'll say, "Oh, stop being that way," or "I'm gonna be that way. I'm gonna be nice. I'm not gonna be nice." And like the be in English, yeah, it's all over the place. But for this, yeah, it's to be is like really its own thing, and then you let the other verbs do their jobs too, because then that verb doesn't have to come along and do the job for them.
It seemed to me like the big job of yati was location time, and then also that the way that the subject is being, but not with a helper verb to say what that being is. But it's really teak. It's hard.
Yeah, and then sometimes that yay can go away, and sometimes it likes to stay there, and those are just things to keep an eye on. And that, yeah, the way that the be verb functions in Tlingit it is different, right? It is different. Okay.
And then the nanain, which is a conjugation of yati, like you become. It's like, well, whatever happened to the root?
Yeah, that's not very common that you close an E verb and it changes to an A verb. That's usually the verb that changes, or vowel, I'm saying verb. So usually the E vowel, you can just close it, right? But this is one where, in that instance, it changes, which is really weird. Okay? But there's some of them too, like some of those vowels. Some of those, when you close them, they're supposed to change to A, right? Like you could say kawa'a or tsuhakakiwa'a, right? And then you could say tsuhaka. I think it'd be, is that yay or ya? Qana'in. Let's go see. So we'll go look up the verb for daylight. So here you've got this. It's a verb. Yaqina'in, right? So this changes to ain, which is what you expect it to do, right? When you close it, you go from to a. But there is a verb, I think, that doesn't do that. Yananan. Right, so that one closes and it allows you to keep the a. So it's like with the vowel switches, it's like the rules are like, it's usually this, but then sometimes there's these other things. Okay. Anything else? You got something to show us?
Screen check. Achtwasigu in kachanik adatwe distributive daga. Are you sitting it?
Oh,
Adatwe distributive to ya away away deik yinak ka ka atlen guch us iti isitin tlikatye aye dachiti. So it's as if you're standing in a trail and all around you you see wolf tracks, footprints. So tlingit kinach away guch kusiti adaye dagati. It's as if those tracks are distributed. So here's some with the verb T. So yedusitin I kuaha. Gook.
hey, yak, hak, uch, yak, dagati. ʼitli, kahinitin. Yummy, our mouths were black with mossberry juice.
Mhm. Okay. Yidat Yiit kuaha adusa. Our mouths were blue with blueberry juice.
Mm. Well, where am I from? Buch saye khadeti.
Agwash ish.
Haqe ishk yachtaqati kanatakahiniten.
Okay.
But they might have.
Wash oh, guk.
Oh, haqe yachtaqati kanatakahiniten.
Ka Yidat adusa. Our mouths were red from raspberries.
Asak.
Adusa. Mhm.
Tu klatzin kwan.
Yadu
Ah,
ka on yak dagati click yade.
tin.
Okay. So from Elizabeth Nyman, using colors. So awe late yachtagati. Some of them distributed around were white. Awe late yachtagati. Adusa. Some of them were black.
Yaduchat
Yahweh.
achu awe uch yach dagati.
Okay. Yahweh. Okay. Some of them were red.
Khataya aku awe an yak dagati.
Okay. I lost
Qayati.
there. We do. Some of them were green. Adusa.
Gudaksawi ay khatqa.
Good.
Kayani yak dagati.
Yahweh. And then Kayaniyach. In Hashika, some footprints were all around them. People's footprints. So ka kusiti ada ye dagati. So footprints were distributed around them. Adusa. Some rocks were around them.
He ada ye dagati.
Yahweh.
Okay.
And last one, the remains of Cheetos were around them.
So ite ʼadudli.átk.
So in this PDF, I just pulled a bunch of examples of these using that daga distributive, which often goes with the verb ti, but it also goes with other verbs, that daga, and it acts as a distributive. And so I pulled a bunch of examples, which we won't go all through because there's, you know, too many. But if you want this, maybe I could give it to you, Kune, and somehow. Okay, I'll send it to Kune, and people could get it. So there's a bunch here from Keishi Deslin. A bunch of examples that she does, you know, and you know, with different verbs. Like here, they had trap lines on trails, and the trails ran in various directions. So it's as if the trails were distributive. And so they went yede in different places. Dach, daga, shu. They extended, they were distributed. Wede. So there's daga acting as a distributive in this verb extending. And then Elizabeth Nyman as well. There's so many in all of the books. So those examples are in there. And there's some from Hashuka. And there's a bunch of examples from the, I pulled from the Raven book as well.
Okay.
And there's one I just had to put in there because right here, number 5, this one right here. So if you look, maybe Kune Iikuaha.
So ashu aja ko ʼatánk. Okay.
Yahweh. So what do you do? Way taka. Taka. And so he also instructed them in many ways. So there's your distributed right there. And I noticed, if I'm right, Kune, it seems to come after the perfective marker.
Huh. I'll have to check that one out. Okay.
Yeah, I thought I found it in a different place too as well, coming after a perfective marker.
Okay.
Huchaway, Gunufchisha, Kain Saahi.
Goodness, she's plain.
Goodness, cheese.
Ayachawe itundatanitsu. We do Zeus kuku. We verbs done. Ka yadu daqa kadach. Tzatacha itch. Tzatacha adachawe. Perfective conjugation. So yeah, it's right there. I should probably edit that one. It should be, I would expect it to stay low tone though. Daqa. But yeah, he instructed each of them. Klikudzi. Chish. Kachek echawe. Okay. Yeah, you did. Gwash.
Wash duktush.
Tlishtak toot we yat.
Kune, can I just give people some homework for Monday before? Yeah. So 3 or 4 sentences about something that you like to do. I won't get into it, but we had kind of an interesting discussion about the difference between masa kianuk and masaye da'ine or dasiye da'ine. And yeah, I did kind of follow up on that because we were I was wondering, why does ʼkianuk, why is it plus I? And we said, well, maybe it's a state verb, although it's Eggleston has it as an act, and I think just about everywhere else I see it, it's an act. But when you look at kind of the way ʼkianuk is, it's to behave like some, to act in a certain way, where to da'ine would be more to work on something or do something. So it might be, and you were telling me that sometimes masa ʼkianuk can be almost, why are you acting like that, eh? Or kind of, so it might be more of a state, eh? Like that. But anyways, I'll leave it at that. But for Monday, think about something you like doing in maybe 3 or 4 sentences. Sheesh.
Don't forget it.
I don't want to be the only one talking. I don't, sorry.
In intermediate, I told them to write 4 sentences probably 3 weeks ago. And like, are we ever going to do those sentences? I was like, yeah.
You also told us to look in Duktush for 4 sentences that were missing the vowel in the classifier.
Oh, we'll do
Remember that?
You just do it and you hold on to it. You hold on. One kanin se jike ne teach. I'll pry it out another time. Okay, back to our translation exercise. Chalk aya chalk. Chishlingetani dat. Tusakuji. Itlingetani kutsati. Ushakayach wuti. Akaye wuti kaas akawu. 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 Kaya goose kutsati. Stikatishlingetani ka yeti hin awa. Hin usati. Ishlingetani ka teshkus. Oh, yitro hayatatin. Hook. Somebody read it. Tell my son. Well, I tell my kids. Don't be slow. Shit the wood, hurry up now.
Ya slingetani ka klesh kusti ya aku ka ya hat hini ka kanadayi hin klenk.
Okay, sheesh. What do we got here? Just making little changes while y'all are thinking about it. ʼAnika. Here's one thing. Anyone? ʼAdusa.
In the world.
On the world. Keshkusti. Ya
There wasn't this lake.
Oh.
We're just gonna go. We'll do it this way. I think it doesn't have to pluralize them. You could also say auksani. I'll probably do that.
Like little lakes or ponds or something?
Like ponds. Ka yakhatini.
Salmon streams, salmon rivers.
Kakanadayi hin tenk.
Big flowing rivers.
Yeah, it's cheese. So hin klein. There's some major hin klein. A'k, shtuk hin, jishkat, al-seich. And the nas, I would count nas as well. You know, it's not on Tlingit land. We were down there. Who wants to read this one? Or who's gonna? Koshech dasai tuasaku. Kukkitu. Don't matter what you want, you're gonna read it.
Idechat ya Tlingit anika. Ye yati chat ya hit ye wuti ya hinika.
Okay. This is all one thing. So I'll give you a big hint. The shtakat. This is all the way down to there. Shtakat yashingit on a ka ye yati yichat. Oops.
All the salmon of today's world
Not today's
or
world.
the present world? Okay.
The world. Or you say this world if you want to. We'll say that.
I think I got it with yagi.
Oh, yati. So this is, here's the yati verb, but when you say yati, so if you said yashingit ane ka ye yati, it's on the world. Yashingit ane ka ye yati yichat, the salmon that are on the world. And this suffix wants to stay low. It's called attributive, and it turns a verb into an adjective. So you could say the people on the island. K'at ka yeyeti yiku. Kanaka. Yahit ye yewuti. Ya hinika. I think I just can make all those long.
We're in the house of the ocean.
We're in this house on the ocean. Maybe I'll keep that one short. Okay. Guk natu.
Yaduchat.
Jeez.
Away ya chat bastuka hagu ya ich hin kas jewanak ach away a hich yande ya yan uhin ya shingit ane plat.
There's a thing.
These fish.
As to kahaku. I was talking about kahaku and kahaku just a while back. As to kahaku. Ya hin kas jiwanak.
Was their eggs on the salt water, they released them? They're releasing them?
Okay. This is all one big thing. Anybody know what the wooheen part is? That might be a big part of this whole thing. We're going to have to consult the yellow book. There's a heen verb. I don't think it has to do with believing or trusting, but there is this one, which we could also call schooling around, as the fishies do. So because it's Tlingit, there's 20 swimming verbs. Achawe chahelyende yen wuhin ʼatánk. That is why. It was really interesting to hear him say yende yen wuhin. And so they're kind of doing two different things. I would say this one is tied to that one. If he said ʼatánk, yan uwa hin, I guess you could say it that way. So when you put all this together, that is why they had not yet come to the shore on Tlingit land. Right, so basically it's saying like they just stay out in the ocean. They haven't even come up by the land yet.
So Tlingit Ani is not the world.
Oh. ʼatánk. Okay, yeah, that's on. It is the world. Cheesh.
But it means.
Yeah, because Tlingit ʼatki, then you'd have a possessive marker on it. And that's Tlingit land. Tlingit Ani is Tlingit villages. There was an elder once I ran into in Fred Myers. And we were just speaking a little bit of Tlingit, and they said they should have made all those things say Tlingit ʼatki. Not just the villages, but the land. I was like, okay. I'll tell them. El Cheesh, good spot. Oh, there's a daka in here. Yichtla. Yan hagi sinegel chish. You prepared us for this. Now someone better read it.
Just ye jididana kashade nakhi chas has ayayakutlench has daga u ayachlitzin ya de ki ya eich hini kade ya a'atánk chani chatga.
Okay, sheesh. This has a big word in it. Just so you know, there's a big word coming. Do we know what Jitidana is?
Rich?
Yes. So Jitidana ka.
Rich people.
Jitidana ka we what baby. You're a rich man, baby. So it's a fun one. You could also say Tlanashi ka. That's fine. Just Jitidana. But then you have this is a low tone ka. If you wanted to have a rich man or a rich person, it's not gendered. It'd be Jitidana ka, high tone. Why is this low tone?
Just for people?
Well, there it is people's, but that means it's attached to something else. ʼakaduneek. Got tone police myself. There's multiple things going on. We're doing a translation exercise, and we're also editing this document at the same time. Just take a team. Just a jitidana ʼakaduneek. What is that? ʼakaduneek. What's a ʼkashade honey?
A leader.
Yeah, and then hun, the plural of hun is nak. ʼakaduneek. That's how you say leaders. Just the wealthy leaders.
Had a big canoe.
Yes, it's only them that have they have big canoes.
So is that what the distributive does, is make that it's only those people?
Well, it's saying they each have one. If you just said hasayu, that could mean like they all own one, right? But once you put the daka'u, each of them have one. So that's why it's called distributive, because it's like pushing these things out in different directions, which is really interesting, because we could say we all have a big boat, but we each have a big boat, right? So that's, I guess, the all and the each is how English usually takes care of it. Ayach chitzin, yadeki ya eitlin kade.
strong enough to go out, just way out in the salt water.
Yeah. Big word time. So your major hint is that this is a speaker from Cake. ʼakaduneek chani. How would a speaker from, let's say, Juneau, say that same big word? Anybody know? ʼakaduneek chani. Neek, nuke. This is a big fancy word. I guess if you had this is the $10 version. If you had the $1.50 version, it might be ʼaq'eyak'. But we're using $10 words here. Jinkatana, jinkatina. And then what do we have after that?
Or fish.
Yeah, for fish, right? And so for delicious fish, right? So, you know, only the wealthy leaders, or you can say just the wealthy leaders, they were the only ones who each had big boats strong enough to go way out on the salt water for delicious fish. Now you get.
What does the chun do?
So the chun and the tsun, basically you could see them, they turn it in, that's another way to turn something into an adjective. And then you'll see, it basically means it's easily becomes that way. It's kind of how it works. And so I'll put a list of adjectives and adverbs up on our page. As long as I remember. I better just look at it. I better open it now or else I won't remember. But there's a whole bunch of these. Maybe we'll just go look at some. Let's see. Oh, no, all this stuff in the chat. Oh, yeah. We'll kill two birds with one stone. I said it. Let's see. So let's switch over for a bit. I think we start with. So here's some adverbs. I don't know how many of the chun or tsun ones I've got on here. I might have a newer list than this. I do. Hold on. Let me try again. I guess there isn't. No. Okay. I'm not going to find it. But there's a whole bunch of these. Like, they're not common, but when you had, I think high fluency speakers will use them. One that I could think of right off the bat is, I know where to find this one. So this one actually kind of becomes its own verb. So you have khayt and khaytshan. So this would be to be afraid of this noun, right? So you could say, I'm afraid of it. You could say kate, I'm afraid of the dog. But then when you put the shen on there, it's saying it's dangerous. Right? And so you can have shun and chun and tsun. I've seen all of them. And so I'll try and get a list together. I know I've got some of them, but if you just scroll through Jeff Lear's verb notes, you'll find quite a few of them stacked in there. And so like there's ones that are like, it's good to hear, it's tasty, There's some ones that are like that.
Une,
Ah,
you have some in Hausane Kayukatange.
oh, sheesh. Oops, I'm trying to do two things at the same time. Trying to share a screen and open a document at the same time. It's not working. Click, click, click. Yeshenakchan, good for bait. It's good to listen to them speak. It's a fascinating story. Sheushchan sulks easily. Sheuschan washes easily. Breaks easily. Easy to heat up. Like it's a really wild thing. Like it's greased easily. Like like it's just really wild how some of these work. Chan gets fat easily, right? Chan. And so it's interesting to watch. Like just looking at these and seeing how they work, it's just tempting to steal, easily sold. There's one that like gives men erections, like that one. That has the chun on there, right? So I think it's ʼadudli chun or something like that. Okay, sheesh. Who's gonna read?
Du'ani ku'u chas yakanish gedech siti hasko tlach ayakuti adak has wukuchu.
Sheesh. Who's the husdu? What do you think? Who them husses?
Ku'u?
Well, there's the ku'u belong. Yeah, well, we have husdu ani ku'u. So these ku'u are the people of this ani, but this ani is owned by these husses. Who them husses we was just talking about? These
Jididana.
Ka.
yeah, jididana ka.
Ah.
Keshushka. Learn to share already. So in this case, you would say the people of their village. And you could say villages, right? If you've got leaders, maybe there's, multiple villages. Again, like Tlingit doesn't have to pluralize that. Just yaqanashkidech sati ah. Do we know this word?
Poor.
Yes. So they are just poor people. Or ones, we say that. Hasqo'a kesh ayach uti a'dak haswukuhu. And it's interesting the way that they chose to translate these. They're the speakers, right? Because you could probably do a tesh ade thing here as well, but maybe the concept was getting too complex. Tlesh ayach uti a'da kasvu kohu. And it's really interesting too, because on its own, ayach yati and tlesh ayach uti means correct and incorrect, right and wrong. But in these cases, we're seeing like enough or like correctly. It's a little bit more complicated than that, right? And then it's also it's absent of like any boat or anything like that.
They didn't go.
Yeah. You could say they could not, and you could say they didn't have enough, or you could say you could throw hastu yagu in there, that might help it. But like you'd say they
Oh yeah, ʻadā.
and this is one, as we go, we're probably going to combine these two sentences. So you could say hastu aniqu sati Hasko a hastu yaku sani tesh ayach uti da kaswu kuhu. We're just gonna do that right now.
Their little boats couldn't go.
Mm-hmm. Hastu yaku sani tesh ayach uti. Oops, I got that in there twice. Da kaswu kuhu.
Because of the little boats.
Remember it later. This one's interesting. Who's getting ready? We'll do one more.
Chas yach yati chas ya jididana ku'u yach at has acha has ach aslatin.
Sheesh. Just ayach yati. I would say it's just like this.
Just like this, just the rich people. And the fish got to eat the fish. Ach, aslatin. That's the way. Ach, tin.
This should probably be that. Yachat has acha. And then has achatin. Any predictions on this one?
They watched them eat.
Yes.
Yeah. Latin sounds like to see it.
So shatin is to watch something, and on its own, if you just said shatin, or it'd be ashtin, it would be to watch something, like as in to just sit there and keep an eye on it, but it could also be to babysit or to take care of something. But if you say yashatin, that means to look at someone's face, right? And so when we translated that, brown bear, what do you see? And you say, I see that thing looking at me. So to say it's looking at me, chat yashatin. that fish is really looking at me. And so ʼatánk is different. It means to cast your eyes at. So that yashatin would be, it's looking at my face. And so kashatin would be looking at the mouth, but then it translates to watching them eat. And then, you know, we translate it, it's a little chunky, but we could always go through and sort of rearrange the English. But I think it's helpful to do it this way, so we just see how the tlingit works to say that type of thing in English, because we can rearrange it later.
I'm a little confused between the acha has acha latin, because the acha is they eat their food, they're eating it, right? Has acha has. And then the ach in latin is also
You're kind of, yeah, you're doubling up a little bit, but yachat has acha latin. So in this case, just ya jitidana ku'u yachat has acha. That's its own thing. Only
okay.
privileged people are eating the salmon.
Mm-hmm.
Has achatin. That's the poor people watching them eat.
Ah.
So you could do something, you know, you could say just a yachyati. Or you could sort of, for simplicity, you could get rid of that. Just yajitidana ku'u yachat has acha. And then you could say we kanashkidekoa has achatin.
Ah. But we don't have to because we just talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like, because that's the thing when you do projects like this, sometimes you get wonderful stuff, amazing stuff from the speakers that I could never think of how to say any of that. But then sometimes when we come back in, we might have to add some things to just sort of say, this will make it easier for the learners to understand. Because in Tlingit, you could probably just, you wouldn't have to add a second subject in there. You would just sort of know, oh yeah, those guys are eating, those guys are watching. But here, like this would just get jitidana ku'u yacha tasacha wiqnashkidekoa. Hasakashatin. So you could do it that's probably if I went through, well, I'm going through and rewriting this. So this is part of a project, right? So this is, y'all are contributing to this incredible project. There's gonna be these kids books that come out, and then these animated series that comes out of all of this as well. So it's really exciting. I'll make sure your names all get put in the credits. And then, but as we go through, sometimes like I'll be rearranging it just to make it, it's a learning tool, right? So when I got it from George and Marge, it was a straight translation tool, but now we're taking it and sort of finalizing it, which means sometimes making these moves, not to change what they're saying, but just to say, okay, this is a little bit clearer for a learner. Even though I told them, but they took it so seriously and they just went big time on me. My kids eat real, want them to hear real language.
With the way that these are all kind of arranged or stacked, it's like the last verb phrase, they watch them eat. That verb phrase, the only way that we know who the they is is going back far enough to see where there's a noun to complete that sentence to go with that verb phrase. Is that it? Because
and also when I was working with them, like maybe because the one step because we never finished this project, this was really like at the end of their lives. And so the one thing that I would have done if we had more time is I would have written the whole thing and gone back to them and we would have read through it. And they probably would have arranged this stuff themselves, but instead it was just sort of live. Get this one, get that one, get this one, get that one. When you do that kind of work, there's usually a first pass and then there's a second pass to see. And it could be, oh yeah, I forgot to add, we got to throw a ku'a in there so that we know we're talking about someone else now. But the ku'a or the kwa, that's your subject switcher right there. Its most common use is probably to say, them, however, oh, those guys, oh yeah, but these guys. Okay. Okay, well, don't let people watch you eat. Share some food with them. I gotta go cook for these kiddos. So I'm gonna cheesh. Don't forget, how many 4 sentences about things you like to do? Yakusha? 3 to 4? Okay. See you folks. And have a great
Ashish.
Ganesh Chish.
Ganesh Chish, Johan.
Yeah, again. Cheese.
Kecha.